The topic for today is overview of programming languages. We can try to answer this question: what language a computer can understand? Binary is the only language that a digital computer can understand. Each programmable digital computer is associated with a binary language, which is known as the machine language of the computer. So, for every programmable computer, there exists a binary language known as its machine language. And we can use a toy computer machine to discuss about the design of a machine language which is binary. Let us consider a toy computer machine with a small memory unit, an ALU containing digital circuits for arithmetic, logic and data transfer operations, a set of registers and a control unit. So, we are going to look at a toy computer with these devices. First, look at the memory unit in the toy computer. It contains a sequence of 256 bytes of 8-bit storage, moving from 0 to 255. So, suppose that this is the memory unit of your computer, and each byte, this is a byte, can store an 8-bit binary string. Each unit of storage, in this example, 1 byte like this, is called a location. For example, this is a location where a value is stored, which is an 8-bit binary string, and 253 is the address of this location. So, address is the unique identifier of that particular location. In this example, the addresses are in this set 0 to 255. Now, we can see that the address of a location can be represented as an 8-bit binary string. Example, this is the binary string representing the address of the third last location, which is in fact the binary equivalent of 253. Similarly, the binary equivalent of 254 is the address of this location. Finally, 255 is 81 is the address of the last location. Now, let us look at the ALU, arithmetic logic unit, in the toy computer. Suppose it contains digital circuits to perform the following arithmetic, logic and data transfer operations. Assume that we have a very small toy computer with these operations supported. First one is data transfer. We can transfer a Y, that is 8-bit, from a memory location to a register. There are two operands. Operands are the data on which the operation is active. Operand 1 is the register to which you are transferring data from this memory location. Next is data transfer in the opposite direction, from a register to a memory location. And next is an addition operation, adding contents of two registers and storing the result in this register. Then is the subtracting the value of this register from the first register and storing the result in the first register. Next is multiplication, and then we have logical OR, logical AND and logical NOT, which is a unary operation. Just complement the value in this register. Suppose that you have this sequence of 8 operations And now you can see that each of the 8 operations can be uniquely represented by a 3-bit binary string. For example, here you can say that 000 is the binary string uniquely representing the operation data transfer from a memory location. Similarly, you can assign unique 3-bit binary string for identifying each of the operations, and that particular binary string is what is called an opcode or operation code. Now look at registers that we have in our computer, and now assume that there are 8 registers, each can store 8 bits, and these are the registers numbered from R0 to R7. And here again, each of the 8 registers can be uniquely identified by a 3-bit binary string like this. The first register 0, R0 is represented by 000, and it goes all the way till 111. Now let us see what is the control unit in our toy computer. The control unit reads machine language program from the memory unit, one statement at a time. And after reading a machine language instruction, it identifies the operation and operand as given by the binary instruction, which is the operation and which are the operands, registers or memory locations. And accordingly, it triggers the circuit in the ALU to perform the required operation. If the operation code is to add, then it just triggers the adder circuit. Also, it enables the ALU to access the operand register of the operand from the register or memory location. Now we have a toy computer where we have a set of 8 different operations allowed, and each of the operations can be represented uniquely with a 3-bit binary number. Then we have memory locations, 256 different locations are there, and we can have an 8-bit binary string to uniquely identify memory location. We have 8 registers, each one can be represented using a 3-bit binary number. Now with that computer, let us see how can you have a program for adding 2 numbers. For that, let us look at a specific programming problem. Consider a program which is to add 2 numbers stored in the memory location 253, which is the, having the memory address, the binary equivalent of 253, and other location is 254, and here is the memory address. So you are asked to add the numbers which are now available in this location, and then you store the result, which is the added number, into the memory location 255 with this binary address. So this is the situation. Here 2 numbers which are actually 10 and 20 in binary. You have to add these numbers. 30 will be the result. You have to store it in this particular location. Now the question is, using our toy computer, how will you write a program? You can see that you can have a program with the following statements. First is, you want to transfer data from this location maybe to register R1. So I am utilizing register R1 to contain the data in this location. That is the first operation, moving data from this location to R1. Second is very similar, moving the content of this location to R2. So this is what I do. I am taking it to R2, and then you know what I should do is just add the content of R1 and R2. For that I have an instruction or operation, add R1 and R2 and store the result in R1. So you add these two, you will get this binary string as the result, and you store it into R1. You will get this number here in R1. So this is what you do. And now you have the result in R1 and you are asked to store that result in this location. So what you do? Finally, transfer the number in the register R1 to the location which is given by this address. So that's the program. Now, each of the statements in the above program, there are 4 statements, can be uniquely represented by a binary string, because you can have a binary string for representing the operation and also for representing the operands R1 and the memory locations. Now we can see how will you convert each of these statements into a binary string. So here is an example. This first statement can be represented as this binary string. What is it? 0, 0 is the opcode for transfer from location. You go back and see that 0, 0, 0 is the assigned opcode. Then this is operand 1, which is R1. R1 is represented by 0, 0, 1. This is operand 2, which is a memory location represented by exactly this 8-bit number. Similarly, you can have the binary representation for the second operation. This is how you encode it. The opcode, which is same as transfer from the location, operand 1, operand 2, R2, and this memory location. Similarly, you can have a binary representation of this operation, which is what? Opcode is 0, 1, 0, which is add. To perform the addition, you refer back and see that it is correct. Then you want to add the content of R1 and R2. This is R1 and this is the code for R2. So that's it. Finally, for the last operation, which is the data movement operation, in this case, you have to transfer from a register to the location, which is the second opcode, which is 001, not 000, and from a register, which is operand 2, which is R1, into the location, which is 255, which is this binary string. So I think you're getting this binary representation, and the sequence of 4 instructions are now represented in binary, and this is what is known as a machine language program. So with this, now we know what is a machine language. The only language that a digital computer can understand. It's a binary language. Here is an example program in the binary language or machine language for adding 2 numbers. So looking at this program, we can say that it's very difficult to remember this language because it's binary, it's not user friendly. Then programming becomes a tedious task and could be error prone because it's difficult to remember what these instructions are, which are the operands, etc. And also difficult to find and fix bugs in a program, if any. And then assembly language, another level of programming language, was introduced to overcome the identified difficulties of a machine language. Now we can see what is an assembly language. So here is an equivalent program in an assembly language, and see that this is more user friendly. Here we are saying that you load the register R1 with the content of this location. Similarly, load the register R2 with the content of this location, and after that you add the content of R1 and R2, store the result in R1, and finally move the content of R1, which is the result, into the location 255. So you are not using binary. So how are you getting it? Load, if you look at load, this is the 3 bits for load. Okay. And then for R1 you have 001 and 253 is this number. And that is how you transform it into binary. So you can actually encode this binary using mnemonic representation. So mnemonic codes were assigned to opcodes and operands. For example, here for 000 you have given a mnemonic code which is load. For 001 1, you have given R1 as the mnemonic code, and for this location, you just use the decimal number, which is more user friendly. And these languages were acceptable when computers had very limited resources. And if you are using assembly language, then you need another program to transform this assembly language program into the equivalent machine language, because only the machine language can be processed by the computer. And for that, you need a program which is what is called an assembler. This we will discuss in the next class. And now, as I said, when you have only limited resources in a computer, assembly language may be enough. But now we have more sophisticated computer machines, and so we need more generic languages, and hence high-level languages were introduced. Now you can have a look at a high-level language program for adding these two numbers. What it is doing is it reads two numbers from the user, it performs addition and prints it. You can see that this is a program in C language, which is more user-friendly, and we can look at some features of high-level language. It's more user-friendly, easy to understand and maintain and remember the statements. An introduction of high-level languages caused explosion in the development of programming languages. Many high-level languages of different paradigms are introduced. But similar to assembly language, if you are using a high-level language like this, you need programs to transfer or transform a program in high-level language to a machine language program so that the computer can execute it. And there are basically two kinds of software used to transform a program from high-level language to machine language, and they are called compiler or interpreter. In this lecture, we have looked at three different levels of languages, programming languages, and they are machine language, assembly language, and high-level languages. Thank you.